Welcome, Baltz families, to this week's Sunday Storytime. Get ready to mark your calendars with this week's news and coming events, which will be followed by a news story for the week. Can't wait to find out what it is. And the final segment will be our Mindful Minute with Mrs. Papa. Stay tuned. In this week's events at Baltz, Picture Day is happening on Tuesday, November 9th. Picture Day has been rescheduled and now it's going to happen on November the 9th.
El día de fotos será el 9 de noviembre. El día de fotos fue cambiado para el día 9 de noviembre.
Cold weather is here. Be sure that you're dressing for the weather and put your name in your coat. Kids will still keep playing outside, weather permitting. We want you to be warm enough.
Llegó el tiempo frío. Asegúrense de vestirse apropiadamente para la temporada. No olviden traer sus suéteres y marcarlos con su nombre, ya que si el clima lo permite, iremos afuera para el recreo. Queremos que se mantengan calientes.
There's no school on November 11th in recognition of Veterans Day. We honor our veterans for their service.
No hay clases el 11 de noviembre en reconocimiento del Día de los Veteranos. Honramos a los veteranos por su servicio.
Parent-teacher conferences are coming. They're happening on November 22nd and 23rd. There's no school for students on that day. You should be hearing from your child's teacher this week about scheduling conferences, and most conferences will be held on Zoom.
No hay anuncios esta semana. Baltz Bears, tengan una excelente semana. Las conferencias de padres se acercan ya. Serán el 22 y el 23 de noviembre. Los estudiantes no tienen escuela estos días. Durante esta próxima semana, los maestros se estarán comunicando para así agendar conferencias. La mayoría de las conferencias serán a través de Zoom.
Good evening, Baltz families, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Storytime. My name is Mrs. Roach, and I am a reading specialist. Tonight, I will be reading Chairs on Strike. Could you imagine for a minute what it's like to be a chair? How often people sit on you without a second care? You know, sitting's not the only thing that happens in our seats. Sometimes a kid sits pretzel style and we have to smell their feet. Sometimes the kids at school sit down hard without any care. And boy, oh boy, it hurts us. It simply is not fair. Other times a kid is acting up, leaning back until we fall. No, it's not much fun being a chair, not much fun at all. We get dragged across the room by our backs and left in places we don't like. Sometimes we get swung around and get ridden on like a bike. When we're used at lunchtime, food is smeared on us all around. Mustard, ketchup, and some things we don't like, but we never make a sound. None of this is as bad for a chair as the very worst, stinkiest part. When a child or adult sits on us and lets out a yucky fart. One day, we've had enough of being treated in a way we don't like. So my chair buddies and I, well, we decided to go on strike. We gathered in the classroom late at night and wrote some letters to discuss our needs. We're going on strike starting now over some of your misdeeds. You sit on us like animals and rock us until our legs break. You treat us poorly every day. No more of this we will take. We can get back to work, but first, here's what we ask. A little respect and kindness so we can do our task. We left the letters on the teacher's desk and quickly wobbled out of there. The kids came in the next morning and asked, where, oh where are our chairs? For a full day during class, the kids were forced to stand. A couple of kids forgot and tried to sit down, but on their bottoms they did land. While it was fun for several hours, the kids started to get sick of the game. They were able to do all their schoolwork, but it just wasn't the same. So they took out their pencils and paper, and they wrote us each a letter back. Once done, they left it at their desks and ran to the cafeteria for a snack. We snuck back in the classroom and read all the children's notes. Some of them were truly touching and had us choked up in our throats. "We're sorry we treated you badly," one said. "It's not on purpose, you see. We didn't realize we were disrespectful. Chair, you are so important to me. You're there for me to lean on, to sit down on when I need a rest. You make me comfortable and focused so that I can do my very best. If you come back, I promise I will not rock on you or fart. I'll simply sit on you while learning math, studying the planets, and doing art." In the end, we agreed to come back. We missed our children dearly. When we returned, the children were kind and kept their promise cheerfully. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to tune in next week for another episode of Sunday Storytime. Good night!
Hey, Baltz Bears! One of my favorite things to do is to cook and bake. Hey, Baltz Bears! My name is Miss Britz, and I teach ELD here at Baltz. I'm going to share with you how I make my Italian ricotta cookies. First, I measure out the flour and put it in a bowl. Then I measure out the baking powder and add it to the same bowl with the flour. In a separate bowl, I put softened butter in. Next, I measure and add sugar to the bowl with the butter. I then use an electric mixer to mix these two ingredients together until it's smooth. Once it's smooth, I add ricotta cheese and eggs to the mixture. Next, I add the bowl of flour mixture, the dry ingredients, to the bowl with the wet ingredients, and I mix it with the electric mixer. I turn on the oven to 350 degrees. I get a cookie sheet and lay down parchment paper. This is to keep the cookies from sticking to the pan. I scoop out the cookie dough onto the pan with a cookie scoop. I put the cookies in the oven for 12 to 14 minutes. I have to remember to set my timer. While the cookies are baking, it's time for me to whip up some yummy icing. First, I measure out some confectioner's sugar. Then I add milk and mix it together. Next, I add food dye, any color I want. I mixed red and yellow together to make orange this time. After my timer goes off, I take the cookies out of the oven and use a spatula to remove them from the pan. I place each cookie carefully on a cooling rack. Later, when the cookies cool, I put icing on top with a spoon. Finally, I have a lot of delicious Italian ricotta cookies to enjoy with my friends and family.
Baltz Bears, and welcome back to another segment of Mindful Minute. Tonight, we're going to be learning how to make lemonade with an exercise called lemon squeezies. Sometimes our bodies get tense and tight and we don't even realize this. This exercise will help you learn another way to relax and calm your body when you're experiencing big feelings. Let's begin. Make sure you're comfortable where you're sitting. And I want you to just take 3 deep breaths. Make sure you're breathing in and breathing out, filling your whole body with air. Now, I want you to put your left hand out, and I want you to pretend that you're holding a lemon in your hand. Imagine that lemon right there. Imagine how it feels in your hand. Imagine how it's going to smell when we squeeze that lemon juice out of it. What we're going to do today is squeeze out some lemonade by filling a whole cup with lemon juice. Now, I want you to squeeze that lemon. Squeeze, squeeze, fill your whole arm tight, harder, harder, as hard as you can. Now, release and wiggle your fingers. Let's try that again. Squeeze, harder, harder, harder. Squeeze that juice out. We need a little bit more. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now release and wiggle your fingers. Now, let's try it on our right hand. Now, put your right hand out and imagine that lemon in your hand. Feel the cool skin of the lemon in your hand. Think about that sweet, sour smell of the lemon juice. Now let's squeeze that hand really tight. Squeeze that lemon. Make your arm nice and tight. Squeeze, 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 and relax your hand. You can wiggle your fingers if you want. Now let's do that one more time. So squeeze that lemon, squeeze, squeeze, make it as tight as you can. Squeeze, 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 and open, and wiggle your fingers. You can do lemon squeezies when you're having trouble trying to sleep, or when you're worried about something, or nervous, or feeling anxious about coming back to school. Lemon squeezies are super cool because you can do them and no one knows you're doing them. For example, if you were in school taking a math test and you started to feel frustrated, you could just do some lemon squeezies right at your desk. Left hand first, then right hand. Try doing some lemon squeezies this week and make your own lemonade when you're having some big, uncomfortable feelings. Have a nice night and see you next week.
Hey Vaults Bears, it's Mrs. Klink and I teach 5th grade. I'm here with this week's big question. Mrs. Roach read, chairs on strike. What is one reason the chairs go on strike? Don't forget, your answers are due by Wednesday afternoon and need to put them in the blue boxes. This week's prize is an awesome bundle of books. Good luck!
Hey guys, it's Miss Persani. Don't forget to like and share this video, and also make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss another episode. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, you rock!